I've seen a lot of places online covering this recent The World Ends With You rumor stuff, oftentimes in relation to Super Smash Brothers, and I've had a lot of people messaging me about it, so I figured I'd weigh in on it, give you guys my 2 cents. Before I really get into things with this video, I just want to say right off the bat, up front, be totally clear about this, full disclosure, whatever. I don't think this has to do with Super Smash Brothers. I think something else is going on here, and I'll explain that in a moment here. But this one does have the potential to have to do with Super Smash Brothers, so I understand why people are talking about basically Neku coming to Smash as a possibility because of this one. Personally, again, that's not really what I'm thinking is going on, but I am a big fan of The World Ends With You. It is a series I really enjoy, so the chance to make a video and talk about Neku coming to Smash seems fun to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this one. Okay, so earlier this week, we had a few things happen that had to do with The World Ends With You. One of those things has to do with Anime Expo. Over on Twitter, @Anime Expo wrote, "While we're not able to see you in person this year, Anime Expo will continue to celebrate all things Japanese pop culture with #Anime Expo Lite, a free live stream event on July 3rd through the 4th. Plus, check out our 2020 Key Art Collab," and then they show 2 art pieces. Over on my Discord, Soul Merce wrote, "The Anime Expo 2020 program guide cover features new art of the World Ends With You characters." Okay, and here's the image itself. There's the World Ends With You characters, and there are some other characters involved here in the World Ends With You art style. Those are mascots for Anime Expo, so it's a brand new piece of art made for the event. So kind of interesting that Anime Expo is highlighting the World Ends With You so much. It's possible the World Ends With You could be getting its own anime or something like that. I mean, this is Anime Expo. However, Anime Expo has had game reveals in the past, so it's also possible a new World Ends With You game could be coming out as well, possibly being announced at Anime Expo. Also over on Twitter, Tetsuya Kondo retweeted about the Anime Expo, so obviously something The World Ends With You is being highlighted at that expo. So that's potentially good news for us, The World Ends With You fans, but what does this have to do with Super Smash Brothers? Well, that same day, something interesting happened over on Reset Era. Garrod_Ran wrote, "The World Ends With You has been getting a whole lot of something for years now, and it's always soul-crushing. I just want a proper second game." Tansut responded to this and said, "Your soul won't be crushed eventually." So a few interesting things of note going on with this one. First off, this was in the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate downloadable content discussion thread. So this is a thread specifically about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. Not to say, of course, that a Smash thread can't get off topic. In fact, they oftentimes do. The nature of Smash being a crossover game means that you end up talking about a lot of characters from a lot of different game series and companies, sometimes things that aren't even in Smash yet anyway. So something about The World Ends With You being discussed in a Smash thread doesn't necessarily mean it definitely has to do with Smash. However, the second really interesting thing going on here is that this is coming from Tansut, and if you know who Tansut is, they have leaked some pretty major things for Smash in the past. Tansut is the person who leaked Cloud for Super Smash Bros. 4. They wrote, "Since this thread is going insanely fast, I might as well make a fun prediction. To coincide with the December launch of Episode 7, the beloved blonde protagonist Luke Skywalker will be revealed, along with a Bespin stage," or something along those lines. Tansut was being kind of cryptic here, but Episode 7, Final Fantasy 7, blonde-haired protagonist, Cloud, Bespin is Cloud City, so yeah, there was a lot in there that was basically saying Cloud from Final Fantasy VII is going to get revealed for Smash, and that's exactly what happened. Tansut is the only person who basically leaked Cloud. That's where that came from. More recently, Tansut wrote, "Seems like the recent DLC rumor is true, y'all. Hope you're hungry for that new character," and then posted a logo of Dairy Queen or DQ. DQ, of course, also fits for Dragon Quest, and we got Hero from Dragon Quest. So Tansut has, in the past, leaked Square characters for Super Smash Bros. I haven't seen them ever leak anything else. It's always Square characters for Smash, and they usually do it in a kind of cryptic way. So them talking about The World Ends With You not being so soul-crushing eventually could potentially point to Neku coming to Smash or something like that. Now, if we just look at what Tansut said at face value, it seems more likely they're simply saying The World Ends With You will probably get a sequel or something like that. That's what I think Tansut meant by all this. but there is enough circumstantial evidence going on here to potentially link this as a Smash character leak, something like Neku coming to Smash. Again, it was in a Smash Brothers discussion thread, specifically a Smash Ultimate DLC discussion thread, and Tansut has correctly predicted and leaked Square Smash characters in the past. So Tansut may have some sort of Square connection. Again, they may just be talking about a The World Ends With You sequel or something like that, but there's enough potential here that they could actually be hinting at a Smash character, as that's what they've leaked in the past, is Smash characters. So who is Neku and what is The World Ends With You? I know a lot of people aren't familiar with this series as it's a somewhat lesser known Square title. Square made the game and it was originally for the Nintendo DS, but it's actually recently gotten a port over to Switch as The World Ends With You Final Remix. Neku and some of the other characters from the game have even appeared in the Kingdom Hearts series, specifically Dream Drop Distance. The game takes place in the Shibuya area of Tokyo, Japan. Actually, when I visited Japan, I made it a point to make sure I went and saw Shibuya. For one thing, Shibuya is kind of Japan's Times Square, Tokyo's Times Square. But mostly, I wanted to go there because of The World Ends With You. I love this game so much. While I was in Tokyo, I thought I really had to check out that spot specifically, just because the whole game takes place there. If Neku were to get into Super Smash Bros., I would suspect Shibuya would likely be the stage, and of course I also suspect that his moveset would involve pins, as the game The World Ends With You uses this pin system for battling. It would be really unique. He could have a very awesome moveset. There's all sorts of cool attacks you could pull out of that, and also there's partners in The World Ends With You, so you could do something with his partners. Personally, Beat is my favorite character in the game, so it'd be really cool if Neku could somehow summon his partner friends, and Beat was one of them. I'd be all about that. And probably the most exciting thing for me, if Neku was to come to Super Smash Bros., would be the music that he could bring alongside with him. The song Calling from The World Ends With You alone would be amazing to get in Smash. I'd be so excited for that. Now, I talked about this a little bit in my last video about Paper Mario and how Geno is sort of a rival to a lot of characters, or at least it can be seen that way, and how I don't really like looking at it that way. Basically, I was saying that Paper Mario is a Mario RPG representative, so it would probably, kill Geno's chances of getting in if Paper Mario was the representative for the Mario RPG games. Similarly, Neku is a Square rep, and I feel like if we got another Square rep for the second Fighters Pass, we'd probably only get one, so if it was Neku, we probably wouldn't get Geno, at least not as a playable fighter, maybe as like a deluxe Mii costume or something. But I also said that I don't like looking at things like these rivalries, because Geno ends up being the rival to a lot of characters I actually like. I like Paper Mario. I really like The World Ends With You, so I'd be super excited about getting Neku in Smash, even though, it would maybe mean Geno isn't in Smash. There's other characters too. Characters like Waluigi, it's a Mario character. Does that stop Geno from getting in? Maybe, but I still really like Waluigi. So all that said, if Neku actually did get in Smash, even if it meant Geno didn't, I'd still be really excited about that. I really like Neku, I really like The World Ends With You, so yeah, I'd be happy about Neku getting in Smash. However, once again, I don't think that's what's going on here. I think Tansut is most likely just referring to a potential The World Ends With You sequel. I think Anime Expo is probably going to announce that sequel. That's probably why that artwork is there, and I don't think this has to do with Neku coming to Super Smash Bros. Over on Twitter, @CrocO'Clock wrote, Amazon France lists several Nintendo Switch third-party games, unknown listings, and then lists the companies and how many games they have listed. 2 times Warner Studio listings, 2 times Square Enix listings, 2 times Ubisoft listings, 3 times Bethesda listings, 1 time Capcom listings, 1 times Take-Two listings. Note that the listings have numbers. So Amazon France may have revealed some companies and how many games they're getting on Switch in the near future here. Notice that Square Enix has 2 games listed. If there is a sequel game coming, it could fill one of those 2 Square Enix spots. And again, that's what I think is going on here. I think Tansut might know about a The World Ends With You sequel and was simply talking about that and nothing to do with Super Smash Bros. Again, Tansut does have a history of leaking specifically Square characters coming to Super Smash Bros., so I understand the association here. I understand that this was in a Smash Bros. Thread, so there's the possibility this was a cryptic leak about Neku coming to Smash, but personally, I think it's more likely just a The World Ends With You sequel. Of course, The World Ends With You getting a sequel could mean that Square wants to push Neku and potentially could get into Smash. So who knows? There's a possibility here, but personally, I'm only looking at this as a potential leak for The World Ends With You getting a sequel, which is exciting to me anyway. Another interesting thing going on lately has to do with the Mother series, or Earthbound series. Over on Twitter, @PushDustin of Source Gaming wrote, "The Mother project was updated. It announced that t-shirts and a Mr. Saturn bag will go on sale from June 12th. The previously announced Pollyanna manga book will also go on sale the same day." So earlier this month, there was an official Mother tribute comic revealed, and there was also more news expected to follow. So some of that news has been revealed as a t-shirt and that Mr. Saturn bag, but the whole video announcing that manga book said to be continued at the end, and it seems like we're going to get Mother things announced throughout the year of 2020, which is pretty exciting. Over on the website Nintendo Life, they wrote, "At the end of last month, the company Hobonichi Shinbun launched the Hobonichi Mother Project, promising various contents and goods before the end of 2020. Now, in the latest update, the Pollyanna tribute comic has been revealed. According to a translation on the Earthbound subreddit, the comic and illustrations in it were handled by 35 manga artists and writers. One of the individuals who worked on it is Toby Fox, Undertale. Here's a look." I had actually heard a rumor about Toby Fox being involved in the Mother series in some way quite a while back. I posted this over on Twitter back, I think it was December 9th, and I usually don't post weird cryptic tweets like this. My tweets are usually pretty straightforward, but this one was a hint at the fact that I had heard a rumor about Toby Fox being involved in the Mother series in some form. If you notice, not only what I tweeted involves Earthbound and Undertale, I also used Toby Maguire, which was supposed to imply Toby Fox potentially, working on the Mother series. I'm unsure if this manga book is going to be the full extent of Toby Fox working with the Mother series, or if more is to come. Obviously, we're supposed to get more things announced by the end of 2020, so potentially more things could involve Toby Fox. We'll have to wait and see. One really strange omission from Super Smash Bros. Is the fact that Porky from the Mother Earthbound series doesn't have a spirit in the game. Porky is the only former boss from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, or any former Smash boss, that isn't in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in any way. There's no spirit even acknowledging that, and it's just really strange. Porky's a major character in both Mother 2 and Mother 3, so he kind of is the glue that links Ness and Lucas together, and again, is actually important to the Smash series itself, being a former boss, and there's no spirit or mention of him anywhere. We even had a Mother Spirit event after Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was already released, and it would have been a perfect time to add back in Porky if that spirit was missing, and they still didn't do it there. It's just really strange. That was a perfect opportunity to add that spirit back in post-game, and they didn't do it. I'm unsure how long you have to wait before you spoil something, but potential spoilers for Mother 3 ahead here. It's possible Porky is in the absolutely safe capsule, as that's what happens to him at the end of Mother 3. Some people have proposed the theory that Porky is trapped in the absolutely safe capsule, and that's why his spirit was omitted from Smash. It's sort of like a joke that he's stuck in there. But people have pointed out that there's actually two different sprites for the absolutely safe capsule, one before Porky gets into it, and one after he's stuck inside of it, and the one we have in Smash shouldn't have Porky inside of it. It's also, in my opinion, kind of a reaching theory. I feel like if Porky was stuck in there and that was the joke, they'd have made some reference to it, but they really haven't. And again, the fact that Porky was a boss character in Smash itself. Porky is actually important to the Smash series, not just the Mother series. Porky is a former Smash boss, and we don't have many of those. To not have him in Smash is just really, really odd. With the potential of more Mother things to come throughout the year here, it's possible something could be building up to putting Porky back in the game. Maybe just as a spirit for some spirit event to coincide with something Mother happening. Maybe putting the boss back in the game. I've kind of theorized that a potential boss rush mode or something could be added, though I don't know if we're getting any more modes in Smash Ultimate anymore. It kind of seems like we won't. Or possibly as a playable character. It's a potential here. If something big happened with the Mother series by the end of 2020 and Nintendo wanted to promote that, it's possible adding another Mother character like Porky could be something to promote that. It would make sense. Porky isn't completely alone in his odd absence as a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There are a few other characters that really feel like they should have spirits. Poochie from Yoshi, Adeline from Kirby, Sylix from Metroid. Supposedly, Sylix is going to have a big role in Metroid Prime 4, so possibly when Prime 4 comes out, maybe we'll get a spirit event for Smash Ultimate, and that's when the Sylix spirit will get added. So Porky's really the odd man out, even among these other omissions, as, again, he used to be a boss in in Smash itself. So I do expect something will bring Porky back into Smash Ultimate, whether that's just as a spirit or a full-fledged playable character, I have no idea, but I do expect something to happen there before the end of all this because it's just a really, really strange omission. Speaking of Sylix and Prime 4, there's been a lot of rumors about something Metroid happening. The end of the Paper Mario trailer even had Paper Mario wearing a Samus helmet, so it seemed like something Metroid might be coming soon. And we've had some rumors about the Metroid Prime Trilogy potentially coming to the Switch, which would make sense. It would be a way for people to play those games who hadn't already and to gear up for Metroid Prime 4. However, something was said recently over on Reset Era that makes it seem like the Prime Trilogy, if it is in fact coming to the Switch, may still be a ways off. Over on my Discord, @MaskForAlligator wrote, okay, a little context with this. There was a rumor that Metroid Prime Trilogy HD would be out next month, specifically on June 19th. This was denied by Nate Drake himself. Subsequently, they asked him if it would come out this year or next, and as he tells us, everything indicates that this launch would be next year. The Great Mighty Pooh, excellent Conker reference, wrote, this year or next year? You don't have the guts to answer this. And Nate Drake wrote, release, all signs point to next year. So obviously nothing definitive here. The Metroid Prime Trilogy coming to Switch at all is just a rumor, and Nate Drake is saying all signs point to next year, so if it happened this year, you know, don't hold it against him or anything like that. But yeah, it looks like the Metroid Prime Trilogy may be a ways off. And that could make sense. Again, if they're trying to get this out around the same time as Prime 4, or to kind of build hype for Prime 4, it would make sense to hold it off. And once again, if something like Sylix getting a spirit added into Smash Ultimate was happening, that might also be held off until either the Prime Trilogy or Prime 4 actually comes out. Alright, well that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. What do you guys think about all that? Do you think The World Ends With You is getting a sequel? Do you think it's possible Neku could be coming to Super Smash Bros? Or again, do you think it's just going to be a sequel, which would still be exciting to me? And do you think it's still strange that Porky isn't in Smash, especially with all this Mother stuff starting to come out? Do you think they're holding off Porky for something? It just feels like he should be in Ultimate in some way. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of that stuff, leave them below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. Really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.